Hi, it's Conor Svensson here, founder and CEO of Web3 Labs, and this is your Week in Blockchain on Monday, the 6th of September 2021. The highlights this week include Binance outlining their IPO ambitions, Solana's popularity reaching new heights, scaling solution Arbitrum launches their mainnet, the SEC is investigating Uniswap Labs, and a fractionalized NFT achieves a $225 million valuation. Binance's CEO Changpeng Zhao has said that they're looking to follow Coinbase's steps in the US with regards to actually doing an IPO. This is off the back of volumes continuing to increase as they have been, and popularity continuing to increase across the board in cryptocurrencies. So it's obviously a very bullish signal coming from Changpeng Zhao. However, given they're still facing a number of different regulatory issues, so I think nearer term they need to be able to address those. And on that specifically, the Singapore Central Bank has actually put Binance on its alert list, have basically issued a warning saying that they shouldn't be offering financial advice without registering in the company. And a similar thing as well has happened too with respect to South Africa with its financial sector conduct authority, that although it said it doesn't regulate cryptocurrencies, they've still issued a public warning about the exchange. Now, during the last few months, we've been hearing these again and again, these different regulators around the world speaking out against Binance. But the important thing to keep in mind here is that what these warnings have typically been about is that people shouldn't be taking financial advice or buying financial products, so to speak, from Binance, which it isn't licensed to do. It doesn't mean it's not allowed to actually provide crypto asset trading services in these different jurisdictions. So it's important to sort of tease out that detail there, because whilst the regulators are issuing these warnings, and Binance is kind of playing catch up a bit with respect to getting the different approvals it needs over time and starting to become more stringent with its AML and onboarding requirements, it doesn't mean that it's illegal to actually provide these trading services that it has done in these different jurisdictions. It's just that the regulators are telling people to be careful, and that Binance because it's not registered there as well, it's limited in what it can actually do in those different markets. Twitter looks like they're planning to implement some functionality to tip on the platform using Bitcoin. This has come from Mac Rumors. There's this beta service which is being tested according to a mobile developer who saw what this service will look like. The intent, though, is that it will use the Bitcoin Lightning Network to make smaller Bitcoin payments and supports custodial as well as non-custodial wallets. So what this means is that people would actually be able to tip using like a hardware cryptocurrency wallet or a wallet file on their computer. Or alternatively, they can actually use something, whether it's Coinbase or Cash App, for instance, which of course is tied in with Square and Twitter, which is all part of Jack Dorsey's sort of empire there. According to the leaked image, though, they're working closely with the Bitcoin Lightning app Strike in order to do this. And of course, the Bitcoin Lightning Network is one of the scaling networks, what's called level 2 scaling networks for the Bitcoin network. FTX, the crypto exchange, it's acquired the Bitcoin derivatives platform called LedgerX. It's not been disclosed how much this acquisition was for, but it's basically in order to open up the market for FTX's customers with respect to Bitcoin and Ether futures trading. FTX are continually pumping money into advertising and various different strategic tie-ups there, but trying to grow the number of different services here as well by acquiring LedgerX is again a big step forward by them there. Solana's had a very active week as well. Solana's one of the so-called Ethereum killer platforms, so to speak, in that what they are very vocal about is that they provide greater transaction throughput than Ethereum, and there's a lot of people seem to be buying into the platform there, and it's now got to the point where Solana's native cryptocurrency Sol has actually become the 7th largest cryptocurrency. The growth has been explosive with this cryptocurrency, and the last month it's actually increased in value over 300%. So it'll be interesting to see where this actually goes. Certainly, it's getting a lot of traction because of the so-called performance of the network, but also people are actually creating NFTs on the platform as well, which is bringing more people onto it. The Instant DAO creator Syndicate has managed to secure a $20 million raise with some big VCs backing it, including Andreessen Horowitz, who actually led it. But then they've also had Coinbase Ventures, Snoop Dogg Ventures as well there. What Syndicate is doing, though, is creating a decentralized investing protocol that makes it easy for anyone to create an investment syndicate on the internet for less than $10 very quickly. So this is apparently, given the fact it's running on top of a blockchain, it's significantly cheaper than creating such a fund that's on one of the more traditional markets there. So given who's backing this, they obviously see a lot of potential with the technology that's being developed there. The South Korean telecoms group, KT Corp, has announced their intent to launch a blockchain-based digital documents initiative. This is to help address carbon emissions. This company provides around 90% of the South Korean mobile networks and almost half of the broadband services. And so this e-document digital transformation initiative is being done by a total of 14 businesses with the goal of actually reducing the carbon emissions there. The reason here by making it electronic is that it will basically take this 4.5 billion paper documents that are being processed each year, considerably reducing the carbon emissions. Of course, exactly how the blockchain piece really supports this is will become clearer over time, but at least they're taking a good step in the right direction there. A number of Chinese regulators held a meeting this week in Beijing to promote blockchain technology to the securities industry and also start discussing regulations. So this was organized by the Chinese Securities Industry Alliance Chain and Off-Site Alliance Chain and the Deputy General of the Science and Technology Regulatory Bureau. And the intent here is that what they want to do is to find ways to use blockchain technology to help build a trust mechanism covering the networks underpinning these different financial assets that will help digitize these industries, basically. And there's been a lot of activity happening this past few months in China with respect to blockchain. We've seen it come up a lot more with respect to central bank digital currencies, but getting these discussions going within some of the other parts of the financial industry is a positive move forward there, and no doubt they'll continue to move forward at quite a rate as they have been there with CDBCs. Telefónica Tech have launched a document verification service. This is something that's called Trust OS, which is a platform that they've built out, which makes it straightforward to generate certificates that combine a digital signature from a user with a trace of where a document's come from. The intent really, though, behind the platform is that it simplifies implementation of blockchain platforms. So really what it is a framework for developers to actually make it more straightforward for them to create these documents that are using some of the integrity guarantees that you get from using a blockchain there. Again, whether it gets traction remains to be seen, but it's certainly good that Telefónica is actually creating this open source software and putting it out there in the world. The scaling solution Arbitrum has launched their mainnet and also raised $120 million in new funding. So Off-Chain Labs, they're the company that have actually created this network, and it uses what's called optimistic rollups. This is one of the big scaling solutions for the Ethereum network. We've spoken a lot before about the Polygon network and the Optimism networks. Arbitrum's another network in similar sort of guise there, in that what they do there is they're a layer 2 technology, as it's called, which provides scaling on top of the main Ethereum blockchain. It's really positive news to see them actually launch their mainnet, because this means it's publicly available, and people who are using the Ethereum mainnet can look to actually tap into the performance benefits that they get from using this. So it'll definitely be one to watch to see how it grows. The Cardano blockchain network as well, which is the third largest after Bitcoin and then Ethereum, they've now launched their smart contracts platform and on their actual testnet. Off the back of this, the Cardano's ADA token has reached new highs, breaking over $3. This is something, though, that's been very eagerly anticipated by a lot of people around the world, because Cardano's come sort of somewhat later than many other blockchains in terms of making available its smart contract platform, but they're very academic in terms of their approach and have collaborated with a lot of academics to try and apply a lot more rigor to what the work that they're doing, publishing a lot of papers and so on. So So again, it'll be fascinating one to watch. It's still far too early to see how good the sort of platform is as such, but again, there's certainly there's people there. It seems to be going down well with a number of people anyway with it so far. Moving on to DeFi news, the SEC is investigating the company Uniswap Labs. Uniswap Labs are the company that maintains the Uniswap decentralized exchange, which is the leading Ethereum-based decentralized exchange, which people use for trading various different crypto assets and tokens. The Wall Street Journal reported this news on Friday, and what the SEC is looking to do is to try and find information about how investors use it and how it's marketed. So it's not that they're necessarily coming after Uniswap Labs, but I think it sounds more like they're trying to understand more how people are using the platform, and hopefully off the back of this, we'll start to see some regulations start to get established, because this is one of the areas that is certainly lacking right now in the DeFi landscape, insofar as there is not any regulation for it, which is great for people to actually innovate, but also it means that there's very limited protection against scams and so on too, which is one of the challenges that are faced, especially with people who are new to it. So at least having some degree of regulation is likely to be a good thing, and seeing the SEC speaking to Uniswap about this, given that they're one of the leading exchanges and certainly pioneered a lot of the decentralized trading markets, it's hopefully a step in the right direction there. On the subject of security of DeFi, Cream Finance has announced that just under $20 million were lost in a flash loan attack. So this is where a hacker found a weakness with what's called the AMP token, and leveraged a flash loan attack, which took 18.8 million out. The protocol notified the community, and it was mainly their token, but just over 1,300 Ether were lost as well. There's a post-mortem that's currently taking place on it, but again, as we speak most weeks, there seems to be some sort of a big hack that's happened in the world of DeFi, so it's certainly a world that's has its share of challenges in that respect. They've also announced, though, however, that Cream Finance is going to integrate with the Polkadot blockchain via Moonbeam. So Moonbeam, we've mentioned before, which is a smart contract platform for Polkadot, so it makes it easier for people to actually develop smart contracts on top of the platform. And so Cream Finance have said they're going to be integrating there with the ecosystem. Another big positive announcement this week was that a number of large Ethereum DeFi projects are going to partner with the Celo blockchain. And so this is basically, it's been termed DeFi for the people, but the idea here is that the Celo platform is a Ethereum based blockchain platform, but it's very focused on bringing blockchain technology and some of the things such as stable coins and so on to the unbanked around the world. And so this initiative's actually been called DeFi for the people, and what they're trying to do is actually bring DeFi to 6 billion smartphone users globally. Now, using Celo seems like a very smart move here, because it's using Ethereum technology, but also they are all about those people who don't have access to many of the services that we take for granted every day. And certainly with DeFi, what is where there is a fantastic opportunity is with respect to people being able to use these sorts of assets for not just transferring money and making payments without having to go through very expensive wire transfer services like Western Union and so on, where you have them in places like the remittance market, which is very profitable for these sorts of companies, but the people who are actually trying to send money across borders are really getting squeezed. But it also means that people with these digital assets, still, by accessing DeFi, of course there needs to be a balance in terms of the types of projects they access, but they can actually see returns on their crypto assets as well, which would be much better than what they can get potentially in their local currencies, due to things like hyperinflation, which in certain parts of the world are a real problem. So it's certainly good to see this initiative coming from some of the leading Ethereum DeFi platforms there. And so the actual companies that were in this announcement, they include Aave, Chainlink, Curve, Moolah Market, 0x, Pull Together, Rabbit Hole, and the Graph, but there are a number of others as well. There's been a DeFi Education Fund that's been announced, and they've given out their first round of grants, which comes to a total of just under $200,000. There's been 4 different grants, and the intent here is that they'll be used to educate, they'll be used for educational efforts in different jurisdictions around the world to advance policymakers' understandings of DeFi and its benefits and so on. as we said earlier, there needs to be some more regulation in place with this market, but it's about getting the balance right and it being sensible regulation. So this, of course, is like a very positive step forward with respect to actually putting grants out there to help educate the regulators there. And the NFT news, Sushi Swap, one of the leading decentralized exchanges, has unveiled a website for their Shoyu NFT platform. This is something that they're going to be launching in the coming weeks, and they've just got a landing page for it at the moment. A fractionalized Doge NFT has been valued at $225 million following an auction on Sushi Swap. So this Doge NFT basically was tokenized by its owner into a number of shares, and then some of these were auctioned off using Sushi Swap. The decentralized art collection platform called Pleaser DAO, which owned it, they used a platform called Fractional.art to tokenize these shares, and there were 20% of these tokens which had the name $Dog using Sushi Swap's token sale platform, and it raised around 45 million from just under 1,800 buyers, which gives it this sort of valuation of 225 million. Whether or not it would actually be able to sell for that remains to be seen, but again, in terms of valuation of an NFT, that's absolutely massive. The CryptoPunks creator Larva Labs, they've actually signed up now with one of the major talent agents called United Talent Agency, and they represent a number of big names like Johnny Depp, Susan Sarandon, and Wes Anderson, and musicians, comedians, and digital talent who are shaping the world of content. So it'll be fascinating to see how that helps potentially with some more mainstream crossover there, given all of the traction that the CryptoPunks have had. The Olympic gymnast Simone Biles, she's teaming up with the Autograph platform to release an NFT platform. And so this is going to be a collection that will have more than 10,000 NFTs with starting at $12. And she's also going to be joining the advisory board, which consists of people like Wayne Gretzky and Tony Hawk as well. So another one to watch to see how it goes. The 1 Inch Network as well, it's been reported that they're sponsoring a crypto-themed animated NFT series. And so this is like a comedy series that's intended to introduce team members to the DeFi space, and it follows the team of creatures who attempt to get startup projects off the ground on blockchain based platforms. And so it'll be another one that could be fun to watch when it comes out. The blockchain based music streaming platform Audius, they've also announced that they've launched a Solana NFT integration, which will allow its 6 million users to feature collectibles from the Solana library there. So again, it's just more around the Solana ecosystem being built up there, with supporting more of the projects and finding new ways to actually get people onto the platform. Moving on to our crypto market caps, the crypto markets up just over 9% to 2.29 trillion. Assets locked in DeFi are up 20% to 98.5 billion. So we'll see if that crosses the 100 billion next week. The 7-day NFT sales are down 11% at 575 million, with an average price though up almost 26% of just shy of $8 million. That's all we have for this week. If you like what you hear, please subscribe to our podcast and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Links to all items discussed are available in the show notes and on our website weekinblockchain.com. We've also just launched a new podcast called Blockchain Innovators, where I speak to individuals who've made significant contributions to the blockchain ecosystems, find out what inspires these innovators, get their thoughts on the latest industry news and events spanning crypto, blockchain protocols, DeFi, NFTs, DAOs, and IoT. And you can see that at podcast.web3labs.com. That's everything I have for this week. Thanks, and I'll see you next week.